What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and this is going to be a bit of a different video today. Um, I felt the need to talk about this when I heard about it. But Leonard Nimoy, the man who played Spock, passed away today at at the age of 83. Now, I'm a huge fan of his, and I'm still pretty much in shock over all this. Most people knew him as Spock, but obviously he was a family man as well. He had multiple children. He when he at the time of his death, he had a wife and several children. He served his country earlier on in his life as well, as a member of the U.S. Army. But just Spock is okay. Well, I mean, what's there to say? He was part of the team that essentially pioneered science fiction, and I know myself, I'm a huge science fiction fan, and it's mostly to do with Star Trek because obviously I didn't grow up watching the original series when it first aired because I wasn't alive. But when I was a kid, my uncle, who is a huge Star Trek fan as well, he would sit and get me to watch reruns of the old original series, and we'd watch what was at the time current Next Generation, and they're pretty much the first two things I credit my love for science fiction, and Spock was obviously a big part of that. And now he's gone, unfortunately. So, I mean, depending on what you knew him as, if you knew him as an actor from any of his TV shows, if you knew him as an actor from Star Trek, if you knew him as an actor in some of the films, be it Star Trek films or just any of the other films he was in, if you knew him from any of his voiceover work, like some of the more recent stuff he did, if you knew it from his voiceover work in games as well, that was in there too. He was a photographer. He wrote a couple of screenplays. He was a poet as well. He published a lot of poetry that he came up with himself. So it's sad to see it happen. Unfortunately, it's a fact of life. But I mean, someone who's so popular and did so much for it is gone. And all I can say is, Leonard Nimoy, as he told us many times to do in the past, the history books, your work, and in our minds and hearts, you will always live long and prosper.